Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, because y'all, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Netflix today, and as you can see, we've been trading in this zone for a while. So is Netflix setting us up for a very strong move to the upside, or for a continuation to the upside, let's say that, or back to the downside? And y'all know I say in this market anything is possible, right? So where are the trouble places? Right now, we can say that support is around this $1,099.03, and resistance is, I would say, somewhere around the 111.0208. Should we break that level, we could possibly, find resistance or some trouble around 111.0570. 1105.70, breaking that 1106.80, which is this high here. So we could very well continue climbing. So if you're trading Netflix, we are making higher highs, and we've been, just trade carefully back to the downside. Let's see, we could possibly find support at $1,095.62. Again, here at $1,092.52. Under that, we can find support $1,087.86. Now, if we should break this level, we could very well come back to the $1,077.58. And y'all know I say in this market, anything is possible. So Netflix is an interesting, it just makes different moves the way that it moves. However, if you get in at the right time, out at the right time, you could very well make some decent profit depending on what you're trading, right? So let's go see where we are today with AMD. Do I have AMD? Let's add that, right? So let's go back and see if we can, just to see where we are with the SPY. Let's look at the SPY today. And it looks as if we closed at 550, right? 550. 550.64. I was adding that AMD, and that looks a little bit congested. Y'all, I promise I'm going to go back and clean up some of my SPY charts and Tesla charts, because again, I've been trading these for a while. Charting these for a while. So as you can see, the SPY was kind of like trading like sideways, basically. Resistance at around 550.31, support at around 549.16, which is kind of like in a tight zone in my opinion. We have a lot of trouble places, so I'm going to start with this one here at 551.12 to the upside. Again, 551.84 to the upside. 552.16 again at 552.70, breaking that 553.29. Now, those are areas to the upside that could possibly be rejection areas. Now, back to the downside, under 549.01, we have the 50 EMA as of now at that 548.35. And as you can see, y'all, I had that area kind of like marked here at the 548.44, which is not far away. Now, I'm going to say if by chance we break through these few layers of support, we could very well come back and find support again at the 547.94, because there's a few layers there. Under the 547.94, we can come back to 547.69 and breaking that back to 547.34. Breaking that 547.34 for the SPY, we can come back to the ATR trail and stop around the 546.82. And y'all know we've been if you're trading the SPY today, those are areas to the upside and to the downside. When I looked at I was like, are we looking at the VIX? No, that is the SPY. So the SPY, S&P 500. Let's go look at Tesla today and see where we are. Tesla closed at 284.95, and y'all see we've made a pre-market high of 292.60, coming off of a 259. Tesla does what Tesla does, and I say that so often, right? So where are the trouble places? It looks like we've been having trouble here at the 289.73, breaking that 291.11, which is kind of like where I had us marked as possible trouble place, right? Back to the upside, breaking that 292.72, breaking that 292.72. We could possibly have trouble 294.95 and 297.41. Breaking that 297.41, we can come back to around 299.72, 301.12. If we break that 301.12 for Tesla, 302.79, 304.29, and 305.43. Those could be possible rejection areas for Tesla. And I know I can make this a little bit bigger for us and better. Let's see if we can work on that, right? Now, there we are. Back to the downside. If by chance we get back under this line here, 286.50 will be an area for me to watch. Under 286.50, we can come back to this level, 285.65, and find some type of support, breaking that. 284.99, and if we should break that, 284.35, and there's a few layers there, but I'm concerned about this ATR trail and stop at the 283.74. In my opinion, that's going to be a strong support area for Tesla. We could very well come down and bounce, or we can continue declining. Should we continue to the downside, I will probably watch around the 280. Breaking that brings us back to 281.68, and breaking that level 280.84. Now breaking the 280.84, 278.70 is within reach. So if you're trading Tesla today, it normally exceeds its ATR. That means the average true range, it normally goes beyond that. So continuing to the downside under the 279 area, not saying that's going to be the direction today. I needed to clear that up, right? So 277.40 is a support area for us. 276.30, and again down here at 274.62. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. And again, not financial advice, right? So we are now looking at AMD. We closed at $96.64, and y'all see it is trading kind of like in a zone for us. I'm going to see if I can mark that without, yeah. So as of now, it is trading somewhat in a zone pre-market, and support is around here at the 95.60. Resistance is around the 96.14. Again, I look at some support and resistance on kind of like of a much smaller scale, because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are, right? Should we break this area of 96.18, we could very well come back to, let's say, around 96.71. That is a zone here that it's been trading in. So breaking this, we could possibly have trouble here. Should we break the 96.71, something stopped us in this area of 97.09 or 97.10, so we definitely need to watch that area. Should we break that, we could possibly have trouble again. 97.69 for AMD. Breaking that 97.69, we have 98.66, and breaking that 99.27. Those are possible rejection areas for AMD as of now. Now back to the downside. Let's say we break under this 95.60. Keep in mind this 50 EMA, and something stopped us here around this 95.02. Price gathered in this area for a reason, so I definitely need to watch this 95.02, which is not far from the ATR trail, and stop at 94.88. So that could be, or 94.83. Here could be a strong support area for AMD. Should we break that, we could very well come back to around 94.08 and 93.38. Breaking the 93.38, 92.76 could be a strong support, which is the 200 EMA. Again, not financial advice. So if you trade AMD today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Y'all know I say in this market, anything is possible. We are now looking at, I was going to NVIDIA. Somehow we clicked on Netflix again. So we're looking at NVIDIA. We closed at 111.01. It too is kind of setting, just trading sideways. So it's going to take us back to the upside or to the downside. The great thing about trading is make sure that you have a clear direction as to which way it wants to go, and trade what you see, right? Do this area, you have to be very, very careful trading that choppy area there, and it's the gathering spot or the consolidation area. I wanted to point that out. Support is around this area of 109.01. Resistance, we can say 110.28. So it's basically trading in this zone here. Where are the trouble places for NVIDIA to the upside? Now, should we break this level here of 110.23, we could possibly have trouble. 110.85, 111.36, 111.72. Breaking that brings us back to around the 111.92, not far away. However, if we break that level, 112.65, 113.94, 113.77, those are your possible rejection areas or resistance areas for NVIDIA. Now to the downside, under 109.01, there's a few layers of support right here. My concern is that ATR trail and stop at 108.61 for NVIDIA. So should we break that, we could very well come back to, and when I wanted to point this out, something stopped us over in this area here which is around the 107.67. Breaking that brings us back to 107.14. Should we break that area, 106.44, breaking that, we have the 200 EMA as of now at the 106.14. If we should break that area, there's another layer of support down here at 105.64, and breaking that brings us back to around 105.08. So if you are trading NVIDIA today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, not financial advice. Now, we did have a few inside day candles, and y'all know I like to look at the inside day candles only because it kind of helps build our watch list and gives us a possible price target, meaning if it should break this area to the upside, then this is the possible upside target, and if it should break to the downside under this level, this is the downside target. So BTU is first on the list as an inside day candle. If by chance we break above 1266, which we have broke through that once, so the target to the upside is 1283. Again, not financial advice. And to the downside, under 1217, downside target 1209. And let's see how much BTU normally moves per day. $1.10, not very far, not really a big mover. So if that's something that you trade, I say trade carefully. Cleveland Cliffs is next on the list as an inside day. It normally moves about 65 cents per day. Again, not a big mover. However, if you get in at the right time, y'all. So back to the upside, if we break above $7.96, we have $7.97 as the target. Now to the downside, let's say under $7.70, downside target $7.46. So if you trade CLF, it is an inside day candle. Next on the list is CSX. Let's see it. If we break above 2808, upside target 2819. To the downside, under 2767, downside target 2717. Now let's go see how much it normally moves per day. $1.03. That is the ATR. And again, y'all know anything is possible, right? CVX is next on our list as an inside day candle. CVX normally moves $5.89. That is the ATR, or the average true range for the stock. Now, if by chance we break above 139.05, we have an upside target 139.40. To the downside, under 137.16, we have a downside target of 137.22. Under that brings us 137.16. So it's not really a big move here. However, the stock normally moves $5.89 per day. So if that's something that you trade, CVX, I say trade carefully. Delta Airlines is also an inside day candle, and that it normally moves $2.97 per day. Y'all, this could be in either direction, right? So if by chance we break above 42.01, upside target 42.37. To the downside, under $41, we have $40.60 as the target for Delta Airlines. And DVN Energy is next on the list. DVN normally moves about $2.06 per day. Let's go see where those levels are. If by chance we break above 91.54, we have an upside target of, did I say 91? 31.54. I do apologize. Above 31.54, 31.65 is the target. To the downside, under 31.01, downside target $30.95. So DVN Energy is also an inside day candle. So let's go look at Google today and see where we are. They are not inside day candles. I just wanted to go back to do a kind of like a recap of what's going on in the market. So as of now, Google is trading a little sideways. We see that here, right? So where are the trouble places? We're going to mark this level here, because price has kept us there for a reason. So it's basically trading in this zone again. I like it on a smaller scale, right? So as of now, support is around here, the 163.59. The resistance is around the 164.38. Breaking that, we could have trouble here at 164.93. Should we break that level, something stopped us here, 166.01. We definitely need to remember that area. Should we break that, 166.88, breaking that level, 168 even. So those are areas to the upside for Alphabet Inc. CGOOG, Google. To the downside, if by chance we break under 163.59, we have 163 as a support area. Again, 162.25, and breaking that, 161.50, and it's really close to this 161.40 area that I have marked here. So breaking that for Google brings us back to 159.95. So if that is something that you trade, I say trade carefully. Let's go and see where we are with Meta today. We closed at 547.27. It looks like we've broken out of a gathering spot here. Looks like that, yes, we are. As of now, support is around the 550-450, which is kind of like close to that 5 EMA. Resistance at around 557. So we possibly have trouble in this area. If we should break that 557 for Meta, we could very well have trouble here, 558.96 or 559.01. Let's say that. Breaking that brings us back to around 562.06. Breaking the 562.06 area. Let me make sure I have that right. Yes, 562.06. If we should break that, 564.08. Breaking that, 566.46. Those could be possible rejection areas for Meta. Breaking that, 566.27. Again at 568.53. There was one at 567.46. So 566.46, 567.46. 568.67. Those could be rejection areas for Meta today. Now back to the downside. Let's say under 554.94, we could possibly find support. 552.56, breaking that. 549.89, breaking that. We have an ATR trailing stop forming kind of right where that 50 EMA is at the 548.98. So definitely need to watch that. And as you can see, y'all, price has been gathered in this area here. So I kind of need to remember that for Meta, and I need to get that off. I do that often, right? So that area of 549.23, we kind of need to remember that. Again, not financial advice, but something is the ATR trailing stop is forming there, and price was gathered in this area here before, so we definitely could watch that. Now to the downside, continuing breaking under the 549.23, we have 546.13. breaking that brings us back to 542.29, and breaking that brings us back to the area up around 539.16. So if you're trading Meta today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. I'm going to go back to the spot because I know that chart was a little bit different. I'm going to see if I can make it. There we are. So we create a gathering spot here, moved up a little bit to create another gathering spot here. Levels to watch is the 550.31. Looks like we got rejected really close to, we've been at this area here twice. So is that a double top for us? That's something to be mindful of. So I would watch this spot today. If we break above the 550.70, we could possibly again have trouble 551.12. So yeah, I wanted to go back to the spot just to see if I can make those charts a little bit clearer. But yo, this is what I see when I look at the market. And I say so often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and sometimes what's challenging is finding a way that works best for you and having the discipline to execute your plan. So I say so often, make sure you set your stop losses, or whatever it is that you choose to use, make sure that you have the discipline to execute your plan. So again, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable, a very productive day. Again, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.